Section 1.1, linear and rational equation. So in this section we're going to talk about equations, starting with the linear and then after that rational equation. These are the objective. We try to recognize linear equation. We solve linear equation with integer coefficient, and then also a linear equation where you have fraction and decimal, and we try to recognize a rational equation as well. Solving rational equation that lead to linear equation. Equation means whenever you see equality sign, that's equation. For example, here, let's say something equal something. That means A equal B. Whenever we see this symbol, that's the equation. So it might be, just a number like 5 equal 5, or some expression equals some other expression, meaning algebraic expression. Okay. So equation means whenever you see equality sign, that represents an equation. Okay, so let's go here. For example, let's say 3x plus 5 equal 2x plus 1. So this on the left side, that is an algebraic expression where x is a variable, and on the right side there is another algebraic expression where x is a variable. And because the left hand side, in between the left hand side and right side, there is this sign, that's why it's called equation. Linear equation in one variable. Linear means degree 1. So normally if we are using variable like x, y, z, a, b, c, whatever, but that should be variable. So if those variable has exponent 1, I mean there is nothing, that means there is 1. Instead of writing x to the power 1, you might write x. So if you see an equation with the you know variable like x, y, z with the power 1, which we write like x to the power nothing, that means power 1, that kind of equation is is called a linear equation. So that has to be equation, so there should be equality sign and there should be variable. This is variable here, and a, b, and c, they are just some number. You have to define like that. Here a, b, and c are not variable, they are just some real number. So any equation of this form, ax plus b equals c, is called linear equation. So for example, you might say 3x plus 5 equal 10. Look at here, x is the only one variable, and instead of a, b, and c, I just picked some value, some real number. To make linear equation, the coefficient, the number in front of x should be non-zero. Okay, so linear equation means that is the equation, there should be equality sign, there should be one variable, because we're talking about a linear equation in one variable, and rest of the things that should be constant, and that variable should have no power greater than 1. So that means x should be, x to the power should be, here you can see the exponent, there is nothing, that means there is 1. So that is called linear equation in one variable. Some examples, this is one of the example. Here you can see 7x minus 4 equal x minus 5. This is a linear equation in one variable. So you can see that all rest of the things, they are constant. The only variable you can see is x, and x has a power 1. So if you try to simplify this, you can bring this x to the left side. So that means by subtracting x, and you can bring this constant to the right side by adding 4. So if I do that, on the left side I'm going to get 6x, and on the right side I'm going to get negative 5, positive 4 is negative 1. So you see that this is similar to this form where a is 6, b is 0, and c is negative 1. Here the second example, this one, the second example is also a linear equation, this one. So as you can see that the only variable you have is y, and then power of y is 1, and rest of the things in this equation, they are just a constant, just a real number. Okay, and this one is the next example where a is a variable. Here a is not a constant. Okay, so these are the three examples. For linear equation in one variable. So our goal in this section is to solve linear equation in one variable. So let's start with this example here. We have 5 times x minus 6 minus 2x equal 3 minus x plus 1. To solve, meaning we need to find out the value of x. Find x, which satisfy this equation. To solve this kind of equation, first of all, use the property of, like you can distribute this 5 on the left side, and it will be now 5x minus 5 times 6 is 30. There is a 2x, and on the right side there is a 3, and if you distribute this negative sign here, it will be negative x, negative 1. Now solving means just take x on one side, the left side, and all the constant on the right side. So just before doing that, you can just simplify this 5x and negative 2x. Positive 5x minus 2x gives you 3x. There is a negative 30, 30. 3 minus 1 is 2 minus x. Because we are trying to solve for x, so we need to bring all the x's on the left side and all the constant on the right side. So I'm going to do that here. All x, all variable on the left side, and so I'm going to just add x because I want to bring this negative x to the to the left side, and that's the only way I can do that, by adding x both sides. And I want to bring this negative 30 to the right side, so I can only do that by adding positive 30 both sides. By doing that, on the left side you can see that 3x plus x is 4x, negative 30 positive 30 is 0, so you don't have to write down anything for this, they're gone. Positive 30 positive 2 is 32, negative x and positive x is gone. So now you have 4x equal 32. Now our goal is to find x. So that's only possible if we get rid of this 4 from the left side. Meaning, because there is a 4 times x, to remove this 4 you have to do the opposite operation. Times, the opposite of times is division. That's why we just divide both sides by 4. So x is equal to 8. That is the solution for this equation. Okay, remember, after finding the solution you can always check. If you have a solution for an equation, you can always check. If you plug x equal to 8 back in the original equation, that should give you the true statement. Meaning, if I plug x equal to 8, so I just replace this x by 8, minus 2 times 8 equal 3 minus 8 plus 1. So if I do that, just do the simplification. 5 times 8 minus 6 is 2, minus 2 times 8 is 16, 3 minus 9. So 5 times 2 is 10, 10 minus 16 equal 3 minus 6 is negative 6. So 10 minus 6 is negative 6 equal negative 6. So that's a true statement. That's only possible because this is the right solution. So let's see another example where you have to solve a linear equation in one variable, but you have the coefficient, the coefficients are fraction. So the first thing is to change this equation into the equation like this. You can just multiply both sides by LCD, least common denominator. So as you can see that for the left side, for the first term there is a 3 on the denominator, and for the second term there is a 2 on the denominator, and on the right side there is nothing, that means there is 1. So the least common denominator of 3, 2 and 1 is actually 3 times 2, which is 6. So whenever you see fraction like this, to handle that fraction, we find the least common denominator, we just multiply both sides by LCD, and that will change the equation into non-fraction form. So multiply multiply both side by LCD, which is 6 in this case. So now 6 times 1/3 1 minus x minus 6 times, when you multiply you have to multiply each term separately. So I'm multiplying the first term and I'm multiplying the second term. So x plus 1 over 2, 6 times -2. So by doing that I can cancel this 3 and 6. If you divide 6 by 3, that will be 2. I can divide 6 by 2, which is 3. So eventually on the left side for the first term I'm going to get 2 times 1 minus x minus 3 times x plus 1. And on the right side I do have -12 because 6 times -2 is -12. Now we have to go back and whatever we did here, we have to do the very same thing to solve this equation. Distribute 2, distribute 3, combine the like terms, bring all the x's on the left side and all the constant on the right side. If I do that, as you can see, 2 times 1 is 2, 2 times x is -2x. Here there is a negative sign, so you have to be careful when distributing negative. The sign inside the bracket will be changed. So -3 times x is -3x. -3 times +1 is -3. That is -12. So now if you combine this -2x and -3x, that will give you -5x. If you combine 2 and -3, that will give you -1. So that is -5x, -1 equal -12. Okay. So now our goal is to find the value of x. Still we need to do one more step. So I'm going to add one blank page here. So we have -5x, -1 equal -12. So what is our next step? We need to solve for x. For solving for x, we have to bring this -1 to the right side and we have to take care of this -5. So first of all, I'm just going to add 1 both sides. By doing that, on the left side I'm going to get -5x, on the right side I'm going to get -11, and now I'm going to just divide both sides by -5. By doing that, on the left side I'm going to get x, and on the right side there will be negative sign and negative sign cancel out, and the leftover would be 11/5. So that is the solution for this equation. If you want to check it, you can check it the way we checked here. Just plug the value of x equal 11/5 and in this equation, and you will be fine. Okay, I'll leave that to you. Just check. Okay, so this is another example where you need to solve a linear equation with a decimal coefficient. So don't be confused. Whenever you see the decimal, you just have to multiply both sides by the, let's say, there is a, you have to count how many numbers are there after decimal and which one is the smallest one. Like for the first one you see there is a 0.1, for the second one there is a 0.03, and then on the right side there is a 0.02. So the, if I multiply both sides by 100, I'll be able to take care of this decimal sign. I said 100 because after decimal the maximum number is 2. So that means start with 1 and try to find out a decimal number which has maximum number after decimal, and just plug the, just put that many zero after 1 and just multiply both sides by that number. In this case it has a maximum number after decimal sign, or this one they have the same. So I just have to multiply both sides by 100. So multiply both sides by 100. So if I multiply both sides by 100, the first term gives me 0.1 times 100 is 10, plus 0.03 times 100 is 3, and then 0.02 times 100 is 2, and there is still 10. So look at here, by multiplying both sides by 100, I don't have any more this decimal. Now after this it's the same problem like the thing we did here. Just distribute these numbers and then do the simplification. So 10y minus 20 plus 3y minus 12 equal 20. Combine this, 10y plus 3y, that will be 13y. Combine this negative 20 and negative 12, that is negative 32. And now because we want to solve for y, we're just going to bring this 32 to the right side, and that is only possible if we add 32 both sides. So 13y equal 32 plus 20 is 52. Now to find out the value of y, we just divide both sides by 13, so y would be 4. So if you want to check, you can just go back here and check y equal to 4. I'm going to leave that to you. So the trick is, whenever you see the decimal number, you have to take care of those decimal number by multiplying both sides by 1, and then after 1 how many zeros you need, that depends uh, on the number which has many digit after decimal sign. Okay, so the next topic is a rational equation. A rational equation means if you have an equation with the rational expression. Rational expression means there should be a polynomial on the top and there should be polynomial on the bottom. This is called rational equation. Rational expression, sorry. This is called rational expression. And if you have an equation with a rational expression, that is called rational equation. Make sense? But it has to be function of x on the top, function of x on the bottom, but those functions should be polynomial, meaning the power of x on the top and power of x on the bottom should be integers, positive integers, not some other numbers. Okay, so a rational expression is the quotient of two polynomial like this, such that the degree of the polynomial in the denominator is greater than, so that's the trick, the degree of the polynomial in the denominator is greater than or equal to 1. A rational equation is an equation that contains one or more rational expression. I'm going to give you example here. So a rational equation is an equation consisting of one or more rational expression with any other expression of the equation being polynomial. So here look at here, for the first one you can see this is the rational expression, there is one rational expression, there is another one, so this is rational equation and there is equality sign. This one, the second one, it does not have rational expression, this is a polynomial on the left side and there is no rational expression. So the first one is rational equation and then second one is not. Now our goal in this section is to solve rational equation. So the tricky part about the rational equation is you need to find out where that equation is undefined, and you can do that by finding by looking at the denominator. Okay, you don't want denominator should be 0. So whenever you have rational expression expression like this in the equation, this q of x has to be non-zero, otherwise this expression is undefined. So that is the trick we are going to use here. Before solving the equation, we need to find out for what value of x this denominator expression should be 0, and we are just lucky that we have the same denominator here, x plus 2, x plus 2. So for what value of x this x plus 2 becomes 0, we're going to solve this and we're going to see, oh, if x is negative 2, then the denominator expression in this rational equation would be 0. So our restriction is we cannot have x equal to negative 2 as a solution. Restriction is x should not be equal to negative 2. That is the only one restriction we have for this equation. So always keep in mind, if you are solving a rational equation, you need to find out the restriction first. So now, to solve the equation, first of all, you have to find out the least common denominator. The way we did this example where you had a rational number fraction, we found the LCD, we just multiply both sides by that LCD, and then we solve the problem. Similarly, here also we need to find out the LCD. LCD, as you can see that they have the same denominator, so LCD would be x plus 2. So now after finding the LCD, we are going to multiply both sides by this LCD. Okay, so we are going to multiply this both side of this equation by LCD. So multiply both sides of this equation by LCD. So that means multiply both sides of the equation by LCD. If you do that, you have to multiply the first term by x plus 2 times the second term by x plus 2, so that would be 3 times x plus 2, and on the right side it multiply it by x plus 2. So if you do that, this x plus 2 and this x plus 2, it will be cancelled out. Here on the right side, this x plus 2 and this x plus 2, it will be cancelled out. So now this equation becomes 2 minus x plus 3 times x plus 3 times 2 is 6. So I'm just distributing this 3 here, and on the right side that's a 4. You see that? So we need to solve this equation. We need to solve this equation. Okay, so if you try to solve this linear equation here, we have to combine this negative x and positive 3x. So that will be 2 positive 2x positive 6 equal 4. So I just combine negative x and positive 3x, that gives me 2x, but there is still 2 plus 6, which is 8, equal 4. Now I need to subtract 8 because the goal is to find the value of x, and for that we need to just get rid of this plus 8. So that means 2x equal negative 4, and if I just divide both sides by 2, x would be negative 2. So that's supposed to be the solution for this equation. But if you check the restriction, we cannot have negative 2 as a solution. So the only solution we got is negative 2, but which we cannot accept because of this restriction. So the conclusion is there is no solution. So sometime we get the solution like this by modifying the original equation. For example, in this case we just multiply both sides by LCD and we modify this equation to this one, and we found the solution, but that is actually not acceptable. So we can say there is no solution. So sometime if we find the solution by modifying the equation, and if we cannot accept this solution, this kind of solution is called extraneous solution. So an extraneous solution is a solution to an equation obtained through algebraic manipulations that is not a solution to the original equation. So here we got this x equal to negative 2 as a solution because of this algebraic manipulation. We just multiply both sides by LCD and we got this x equal negative 2, but we cannot accept it because of this restriction. So this x equal to negative 2 is called extraneous solution. So that's section 1.1.